G'day everyone. You've tuned in to watch a communication with a Yowie. I'm not talking about wood knocks, and I'm not talking about playing a voice recording and getting them to respond back or anything like that. What I'm talking about is a communication with a Yowie on an energetic level. What I'm talking about is using high sensory perception to tap in to the same energy stream of consciousness that the Yowie is on, ask the Yowie questions and get actual responses. Now, I've had my own personal incidents happen lately that have basically completely confirmed the existence of these other realities. So this video is going to be really exciting because this is the first time that I'm really going to admit that, well, let's just say it, I'm bought in. I'm all in. After my experience, and if you want to know what it is, check out the evidence or proof or whatever I'm going to call it of alternate realities video in the Rabbit Hole series. But this video is not about that. This video is about communicating with a Yowie. Now, this is not the first time we've done this. There's a whole bunch of videos on our channel, I think 3 or 4 maybe, where I've gone and communicated with a Yowie using this energetic form. I've asked a lot of questions, so you got to go back and watch those videos as well to get the whole conversation we have here. But what we've covered is the Yowie that I'm in communication with represents his tribe. We believe his name is Nadgicamb, and it really seems like these communications are getting better and better and better with every single one we do. So with that in mind, I'm going to pull out the phone because I've got them all saved on here. I'm going to read through my questions and then tell you the answers. And now look, I've read through these answers once. I always have to read them when I get sent them, and then I don't look at them again until I come out and do this very video. The main reason for that, I want to get that genuine response and analysis that comes. I don't want to have a rehearsed, canned response. So that could make it a little bit all over the place. I may go off on tangents, but rest assured, all this information, it's solid. The person who's getting this information for me, her name is Fifi MUNRO, animalhealing.net.au. She owns Serenity Lodge. She is a gifted human. She's worked with me personally, and that's actually changed my life in the real world. Not in my head, in the real world differences. This woman is the real deal. And she's the one that I'm using to be a conduit between Nadgicamb, the Yowie, and myself. Now, suffice to say, this is gonna get weird. You can buy in, you can call it crazy, or you can listen. You're welcome to say it's rubbish. That's your opinion. Where I'm at in my journey, I'm giving a little bit of credence to this. As I said, I'm all in. I'm ready to accept this, that we are communicating with a being that identifies itself as Nadgicamb, and as these questions confirm, is definitely what we would call a Yowie, a Bigfoot, or a Sasquatch. It's not an elemental, it's not some other fairy or some other being. I believe I've covered that what we are communicating with is indeed a Yowie. So there's going to be a bit of reading off the phone. I can't be expected to memorize all this stuff, so enjoy this one. These are some of my favorite videos to do because where it takes my mind, where I allow my mind to go, it's a free thinking zone and really good knowledge, wisdom, I don't know what you want to call it, can come out of it. So let's do this. Okay. My first question. Am I speaking with Nadgicamb? If not, what is your name? The response, yes, I am representing this tribe. So you can read into that a lot. Nadgicamb is representing his tribe. However that works, you can read into that however you wish. Question 2. Is your 3D physical form what we would call Yowie, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, hairy man, etc.? We come in a form you can understand. We come in a form you can understand. So I'm not thinking about what he said there. I'm thinking about what he hasn't said. What is a form that we wouldn't understand? Now, I believe any physical form, we understand it, right? If I see a monster with 17 heads, 400 foot tall, I will at least understand that's a monster with 17 heads, 400 foot tall. So anything physical, we understand. So they are incarnating, they are coming in a form that we can understand. A form that we couldn't understand, perhaps a light being, an energy, But then again, I perhaps would look at them and go, ah, that's a light being, but I wouldn't know what I'm looking at. So let your mind ponder on that. What is a form that we would not understand? Doesn't that give us any insight into what these beings actually really are? Question 3. Are you, as in is Nadgicamb, what we would refer to as a Yowie, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Hairy Man, or are you actually a different being? I asked this question because a lot of people said, how do we know what we're communicating with is actually a Yowie? And he said, we are not human, we are caretakers of the planet. Remember what he said last time, that he was Earth Keepers? And I said I'd use that term and I always forget to use it. Caretakers of the planet. So they're not human, they're caretakers of the planet. Let's move forward. How long has your species been on this planet? And I put in years. Now, he said, we came in the dream time, but we come and go. Okay, we came in the dream time, but we come and go. For those who aren't aware, dream time or the dreaming is literally the indigenous creation period for indigenous people of Australia. It is the stories, it is the laws, it is everything about how this place came to be and well, I will say their place in it, the indigenous people of Australia, humans' place in it. So he is saying that they came during the period of creation. Okay, so read into that what you will, but if they came when everything was being created, then they are indeed here from day one, I guess you could say. But it's what Fifi added into this that is really interesting. She said, they showed me a spacecraft as if they came from another planet and were placed here to help the planet and help human species. So she gets visualizations a lot when she does this sort of thing. They showed her a spacecraft. The FBI themselves, they literally documented beings that arrived in a spacecraft and were from another dimension. And before I got this answer, I had read that document and I had thought to myself, I wonder if these beings could be the same beings that we call Yowies. There could be like a single answer to all these mysteries. That there is a, I would say an energetic being that exists that takes many different forms. And its main role, it's been misinterpreted over the thousands of years that mankind has been around. But that role is to take after the planet. It's really, to look after the planet, sorry. It's really interesting. So Bigfoot came here in a spacecraft, according to these answers. How long, next question, how long does your physical body live for, and what happens to the body when it dies? For example, do you bury it? The answer, you are using human terms, life is eternal, form dissolves. So I would take that to mean life is the spirit, is the soul, is the energy, and yes, that is eternal. Science can prove that because you cannot destroy energy, you can only create it. Form dissolves. This is form. This is form. And he's correct. Everything eventually disappears and dissolves away. So I suppose the answer there is that their bodies just dissolve away like ours would. And again, it raises the question, why don't we find dead bodies? I can't answer that. I can't answer that. Question 6. Now, these next two questions dovetail so nicely and I love it. Do you inhabit a specific creature when on Earth, or do you live on Earth in a permanent physical body? So the point of these questions is to get some truth about the concept that Yowies can inhabit like a bird, for example, or a possum, or this or that. Or are they in a physical permanent body like I'm physically permanently in this body? And the answer, we understand all natural life. I don't think that's on the level that you and I understand things. I would take it to mean that they intimately understand everything about all forms of life and therefore can possibly inhabit. Anyway, we understand all natural life. We are more fluid in our form and flexible. We are more fluid in our form and flexible. So their form is not fixed. not bonded to your 3D beliefs. So we believe this is it, this is me, this is Craig. They're saying, I may see Nadgicamb, a Yowie, as the Yowie that we all know, but they are not bonded to that form, that they are fluid. And before we go any further, question 7, considering you seem to be both physical and non-physical, do you ever inhabit other bodies while here? Example, other animals, birds, etc. One word answer, yes. Now, I'm not saying every bird that comes and perches next to you in a campsite is a Yowie, but what I'm saying, if you have a curious happening, you just never know. You never know. I've had some odd timings of things. I've had possums come up to me right after I've done my clapstick ritual and want to basically sit in my lap. And people at the time said, Yowie's sending out a scout. And I wonder, Base Camp Bobby. It was called Base Camp Bobby because of the little robins, the grey and yellow robins that are always around me. I wonder. I'm not getting carried away, but I'm just saying, and remember, free thinking zone. Allow your mind to wander. Question 8. Are the sightings we have of Yowie, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Hairy Man actually the species you are, or are they another being altogether? Again, trying to tackle who and what this being is. Like humans have different races, so do we in our species. Okay, so I believe the answer is the sightings that we have indeed are what this being is. In other words, this guy is a Yowie. And he's just extrapolating that they have different species. They have different races, I guess you could say. That's actually interesting. Humans don't have different species. I guess we do down the family tree as we go back in time. Okay, so that's okay. Question 9. Are there any Yowie, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Hairy Man type beings that are purely physical and live exclusively on Earth? In other words, they're not interdimensional. They're not mystical. They can't, you know what I mean? Just a purely flesh and blood being. Something that can be hunted, a relic hominid, etc. The answer. Now, Fifi writes, feels hesitant, that there was a period of hesitation here. And then he says, we come and go as the planet is struggling. And those of you that understand indigenous beliefs and energy, get ready for this line. So we come and go as the planet is struggling. We live in the song lines, in the ley lines. And the mystery of us is what humans can relearn about themselves. I don't even understand that. So if they live in the song lines, if they live in the ley lines, then they can only be energetic beings. There's nothing else they can be. If a ley line is an energetic line, an energetic grid that covers the earth, ley lines are centers of energy. If these beings live in these ley lines, then the only thing that can live in the ley line, in the song line, is an energetic being. And the mystery of us is what humans can relearn about themselves. So the mystery of the Yowie is what we can relearn about ourselves. Is that saying that we need to relearn to harness energy? Is that saying that we need to get back in touch with nature? With the earth? That's a bit deep that I can't quite decipher that. I just can't quite decipher that. I don't understand it. And the mystery of us is what humans can relearn about themselves. So we're suggesting that we have forgotten things. I would say, now that I noticed that word, I would say that we forgot our connection to Mother Earth, to nature. We forgot what it's all about. And we need to relearn that. Alright, now the last question and answer for this video. My species has evolved and adapted to cities and technology. You have seemingly evolved to nature, energy, and spirit. Is this correct? And is this the main difference between us? Answer. I would say your species hasn't evolved, more like possessed, fragmented, and disconnected more than ever. Intellect is not evolution. Wow. I'll read it again. I would say your species has not evolved, more like possessed, fragmented, and disconnected more than ever. Intellect isn't evolution. Intellect is not evolution. Evolution is a natural process. Intellect is harnessing unnatural means. We are possessed, fragmented, and disconnected. That's a fairly accurate description of humanity, especially at this point in our history. Possessed. Look at our absolute obsession with technology. People lining up for days to get the newest iPhone. I'm not saying I'm perfect. Look, I'm doing this off a phone, but there's a difference between using a tool and becoming obsessed. And possession implies that. We've been possessed with the cult of technology. Disconnected, as I said, get back to nature, and fragmented. Well, that was interesting. I think the biggest takeaway from this is how these guys got here. If the claim is correct, we have from the horse's mouth that they came here on spaceships. They showed Fifi a spaceship. Now, those who know, and I can't say any more than this, but those who know the connection there, know the connection there. And that's a confirmation that I never asked for. And that's a confirmation that I never set up. But that is a confirmation of stories of the past. And that is a confirmation of things that other groups in society may already know. The idea that the Yowies, the Bigfoot, the Sasquatch, the hairy man, are not flesh and blood relic hominids that are a species of great ape yet to be discovered. No, that they've been here since day one, since the dream time, since creation. They arrived here on spaceships. They have been put here to help the planet, to help balance the planet. I think that's quite a big statement. And I think that's quite a big takeaway. As we hear more dirt bikes in the background, you always get them at this spot. So I hope you found that as interesting as I did. I find that super interesting. Now, there's going to be more videos on this. There's a lot more left in this communication yet. I just don't want to have a 45 minutes to 1 hour video saying it all. It's too much to take in. I want to fragment it, as it were. So tune in for the next one. Again, this is an energetic process, an energetic communication. It's as valid as you want it to be. Remember, free thinking zone. Don't narrow your mind so much that you can't see the big picture, but also don't open your mind so much that your brain falls out. Nonetheless, thanks for watching. I hope you got something out of this, and I'll see you on the next video. It'll be coming soon, and we'll have another whole bunch of questions that I know you're going to find interesting. So have a great day. Take it easy, guys. Bye for now.